Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Voiddyn and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. Normally on this channel we go over meta decks and we talk about how meta decks affect the format and things of the sort, and we also talk about kind of like, what the best decks in the format are. I usually go on to Limitless, see what's won a couple things over and over again, and usually kind of give you guys a guide on how you would normally play the deck. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. Unlike other times that we've made decks, we're going to be going over the process of how to make a deck ourselves. We're going to take a card that came out of the new set, Prismatic Evolution, and make a deck around it because I think the card might actually be good. That card's Flareon EX. Flareon EX was printed in Prismatic Evolution, and it is a Tera EX Pokemon. It has the attack Burning Charge that deals 130, and you search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Then you shuffle your deck. It also has the attack Carnelian, which says during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Originally, when I saw this card, I thought it was very cool because I thought Burning Charge had the opportunity to really kinda, not knock anything out, but acceleration plus 130 for 2 energy was pretty good. So let's talk about how I got to this deck. Seeing Flareon EX, I noticed something a little bit weird. When we took Flareon and we put it next to Vaporeon, it had this other attack that seemed extremely similar, which was Aquamarine that deals 280 damage, and during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack, but it had the same energy cost. It was a Fire, Water, and Lightning. So I said to myself, well, this can't be a coincidence, let's take a look at Jolteon. And Jolteon had this Flashing Spear attack, which was pretty good. Discard 2 basic energy from your benched Pokemon, and dealing 90 per card you discard this way. So that's 180 plus 60, that gives you about 240, which for 2 energy is respectable, and you kind of get towards the end of the game, it's not that bad of an attack overall. But then it had Dravite, which was 280 for a Fire, Water, and Lightning. And it also said during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So I said to myself, well, there has to be something here, right? There has to be some sort of deck here. So I started brewing a little bit. And I also noticed EVEX. EVEX has this attack, Consecrating Quartz. Deals 200 for a Fire, Water, and Lightning. So because of the fact that we had all these different things, I said there must be a way to make a deck around this. So we took Flareon, and I kind of threw it into this deck list. So let's talk about my next step in this process. I said, okay, Flareon seems like a really good attacker. How are we going to get it to attack? Flareon needs to be partnered with something that enables multiple energy to be attached at once. And that card is Crispin. Crispin allows you to search your deck for 2 energy, put 1 into your hand, and attach another one to a Pokemon you control. Very strong for a supporter right now, as long as you can find a way to find it consistently. And that way I decided that would be consistent with Noctowl. Noctowl has the Jeweled Seeker ability that says once during your turn you may play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon. If you have a Tera Pokémon in play, you may search for 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. And that gave me a really good idea. If we can use Noctowl to search out stuff like Crispin, and stuff such as Sparkling Crystal, which will reduce the attack of Tera Pokémon for 1 energy less, I figured that this would be a really good way to go. Then I looked into other stuff like that, such as Glass Trumpet. Now, this sounds really weird, but I decided that instead of going off of just generally what I thought would be good, I decided to base it off of a list that already existed. Terrapagos already does most of this stuff already, and does it a lot more consistently and has less restrictions. So I started taking a look of Terrapagos and Noctowl, as well as Palkia V and Noctowl lists as well. I saw what trainers that they were supporting, where a lot of them played 3 Earthen Vessel, a lot of them played 4 Nest Balls, some even played a Switch. They played things like Thornton and Briar as well. So what was the things I did different? Well, I noticed that a lot of these lists ran 5 to 7 energy, so I went out of my way to make sure that I could easily get the Lightning, Fire, and Water that I required from my attackers. So I said, okay, I'm going to do 3 Fire, 3 Water, and 3 Lightning. On top of that, I also saw that a lot of them played Fanrotom, because Fanrotom allows you to set up your normal Pokemon, allows you to get out your Hoothoots, your Noctowls, and then I realized that it would also let me grab my Eevees as well. I decided to play some Eevees with Boosted Evolution. As long as there's Pokemon's in your active spot, it can evolve during your first turn or the turn you played it. It's very strong when that Eevee can sit in the active spot and be evolved into your Flareons. Now for the Jolteons and Vaporeon counts, I realized that they weren't as strong as Flareon. Flareon had that 130 attack for 2 energy that allowed you to accelerate 2 energy to your bench. So doing stuff such as Noctowl to be able to, get yourself that Crispin attached to Flareon, and even Sparking Crystal allowed you to do 280 on your first turn attacking with it. Or you could even do 1 energy attached to Flareon, another to the bench, and then use that Sparking Crystal to attack, deal 130, and accelerate to something on the bench. So what did I end up doing with Vaporeon and Jolteon? Vaporeon and Jolteon are still in the list, and they're meant as 1-ups to hit for weakness and hit for unique situations. Severe Squall, I found out, dealing 60 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon EX, is a great way for eliminating high HP Pokemon that would normally take 2 hits to hit anyway. Since you already have to wait a turn to do 280, you might as well do 60 damage to each of them to weaken it up to allow you to 1-hit or 2-hit Charizards if there are multiple on the bench. Also things that normally wouldn't die to 280 anyway. So Vaporeon EX is very good in this list for that, as well as hitting anything that has water weakness. Now Jolteon EX I don't use as often, but that Flashing Spear allows you to hit numbers that normally the 130 may not hit, but also hit for weakness on things such as Lugia that have a lightning weakness. Again, the Jolteon may not need to be in this list, but honestly I really enjoyed including Jolteon. Now another thing that I included that I wasn't really expecting to was Eevee EX. Eevee EX has the ability Rainbow DNA that says it can evolve into any Pokemon EX that evolves from Eevee if you play it from your hand onto this Pokemon. It doesn't have the boosted evolution that lets you evolve first turn, but Rainbow DNA allows you to do some really fun stuff. Not only just that, but sometimes you need an EX Tera Pokémon first turn to enable Noctowl. It's also a way to fetch off the Tera Orb that we end up playing in this list. Not only that, you can also accelerate to it using Glass Trumpet. Like other lists, some cards that I picked up to play are Canceling Cologne, Energy Switch, as well as Thornton. Now this list may be a little bit up in the air and there might be some changes that you can make, but honestly I felt a good split for Eevee EX was 2 and 2. Now I could see a situation where Eevee with boosted evolution gets boosted up to 3 and Eevee EX goes down to 1. I can also see a list that you don't play Jolteon, and that our draw engine's actually Pheasantipity and Mew EX. But because of the fact that this stuff doesn't get knocked out a lot, you could probably go against playing Pheasantipity because your bench space gets a little bit tight. Also, unlike these other lists that are playing Terapagos EX, I'm not playing Area Zero Underdepths. Now the reason being is that you don't really get that much advantage from having Area Zero Underdepths out, because we're not playing stuff like Raikou, we're not playing stuff like Terapagos, we're not playing stuff like Palkia. We don't care about the number of Pokemon on our bench. Because of this, bench space does get really tight, so, play this a little bit sparingly. Now, Sparking Crystal is a card that is up for debate in this list because of the fact that it does allow you to attack earlier and get your acceleration going. But a lot of people may decide to play Prime Catcher or Scoop Up Cyclone instead to just remove stuff off of the board, re-evolve, especially because you can evolve right away using your Eevee EXs and using your boosted evolution Eevees. But again, this list is very much up in the air, and honestly, I haven't seen anybody talk about Flareon yet, which made me super excited to try this list. There's also a version of this list that you could probably play where you don't play Vaporeon and you don't play Jolteon. But honestly, I really like the theme of being able to play it like this, so we're probably going to stick with this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this gameplay of Flareon EX, and we will be right back. Okay, so let me see. So our Nest Ball is going to get Fan Rotom, then we're going to get an Ascension Eevee, boosted evolution Eevee, right? And then we're going to probably attach to the Hoot Hoot Retreat, evolve into Flareon, and like double evolve or something of the sort, right? It's going to be really cool because it will technically be our first turn, and we'll be able to evolve on the turn that it's played. I absolutely love the fact that boosted evolution can like really circumvent these circumvent things that are going on here. It looks like that there is a EXP share. Okay. And then Inferno Wing says if it has any damage counter, it deals... Okay, it'll deal 90 damage overall. I'm not too worried about it, but you know how it goes. Sometimes you got to be a little bit worried about what's going on here. We do get the Eevee straight out the bat, so we may not even need to do that. I would like to get myself with our Nest Ball. Oh, we don't. We prized both Fan Rotoms. Okay. Well, with prizing both Fan Rotoms, let's check our hand. We have an Ultra Ball in hand, which means that we probably want to get the Mew, right? Because we want to be able to retreat our Hoot Hoot. So let's Ultra Ball here. We're going to discard Jolteon, discard Boss's Orders, get ourselves... Man, I want to be able to get something a little bit different. But honestly, I think we need to get ourselves a... We're going to evolve here. I'd like to get myself a second Hoot Hoot. And we want to dump our hand too. So let's get ourselves an Eevee just in case. We'll play the Eevee here. Let's retreat the Hoot Hoot into the Eevee. Let's evolve here. That's the power of the boosted evolution Eevee. We get to just do so much more with it than I thought we would be able to. Right? So I cannot I can't evolve Eevee EX right away, but that's okay too. I need to be able to draw some more cards next turn, or just be ready in case that we need to do anything else. I'll grab another Hoot Hoot and then just pass my turn. We need to be able to draw a Noctowl next turn just to be able to, like, you know, properly do some stuff, but Vaporeon EX is going to be very strong here. We'll evolve the Vaporeon EX onto the Eevee EX and kind of push forward with it. Again, this list is placed very similarly to the other Noctowl stuff that you see in the format, so you kind of want to be proactive and make sure you can get your Noctowls out ASAP. Okay, let's see what my opponent does here. My opponent's playing what looks to be the stock Charizard list that they give you once you start logging into the game, and, you know, like the one that you could easily buy with stuff, but let's, you know, we'll play around with it. We'll see what happens. My goal is to get the Vaporeon into the active if I can, but I don't know if that's going to be as easy because of the fact that we have that 2 retreat cost on our Flareon. But what we will do is that if we do get a Noctowl, we'll go Noctowl, evolve onto the Hoot Hoot, find myself, like, I don't know, Noctowl, evolve onto the Hoot Hoot, get ourselves, like, energy. Oh, okay, we do have an energy here. That's pretty okay. I want to be able to draw maybe 2 cards. So there's an argument that I go here and hope I get a Crispin. No Crispin, but we did get Canceling Cologne, Buddy Buddy Poffin. Buddy Buddy Poffin doesn't really get us anything else, but there's an argument that we just leave a slot open just in case. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just leave a slot open. And then I can always play the Canceling Cologne next turn just to get it out of my hand to help us draw cards with Mew EX. Again, this is not the best thing to really show off when we're trying to show how cool a deck is, because of the fact that we kind of got a dud hand when we started. And I tested this guy a bunch last night and was not getting as much of dud hands. Again, my opponent's trying to figure out what they're looking to do here. Maybe they were looking to get knocked out on the Moltres, or they're looking to just get a quick knockout with Combustion Heart on the Radiant Charizard. There's the Professor's Research, discarding what looks like to be a rare candy in the barrel. Okay. What I'm worried about... Oh, there's the rare candy coming down. Oh, it's this Charizard. It's not even Charizard EX. Okay. Basic energy applied to your Pokemon is 2 basic fire energy. And you cannot apply more... Okay, so basically anything attached applies for double, which is pretty strong for them. And then they use the Growlithe, which becomes, you know, the Arcanine, which is going to deal a ton of damage. Let them discard only 1 energy instead of discarding the 2. So, I think we need to use this Canceling Cologne, and then I'd like to maybe get a Pheasantipity out. I understand that that locks us into a weird position, but honestly, I'm not too worried about it because I'd like to be able to have that draw if I get knocked out. Now, here's the Earthen Vessel. We're going to use the Earthen Vessel to discard the Thornton because we don't care about the Thornton. I'd like to get a fire and a... Let's get a fire and We have one water in deck, one electric, so we'll go fire like this. Right? We'll put fire onto the active. I'd like to be able to do Burning Charge for 130 to the active, taking a prize. But then I'd like to put Water Lightning onto the bench like this. Maybe I should have put Water Fire onto the bench, but that's alright. One of the things that I did not really think through as much is the fact that the Aquamarine makes it so that we can't attack on the next turn. Maybe we need to play more switches or something of the sort, but like the first attacks are so strong that, you know, maybe we just manually retreat and have a backup attacker ready to go. Hisuian Heavy Ball's good in the active as well. If we get knocked out from this Combustion Burst, we start doing stuff like Aquamarine next turn, and really just kind of get ourselves ready to go. Now, this 2 basic energy can go onto any of your 1 Pokemon, so we can put it onto Mew EX if we really wanted to. Maybe we need to play another switch in this list as well, but we are already playing 1 switch. So after we Vaporeon to attack, we can just kind of swap that out if we really need to. There comes the Arven. They're probably going to get something. I don't really know what they get here that helps them that much. Maybe they get another EXP share that they put onto the Arcanine. That seems like a good idea. Bright Flame is pretty good, but it does not knock out Vaporeon in 1 hit. This is such a cool deck because of the fact that we're able to use stuff like Jolteon, Vaporeon, and whatnot. One of the things, though, that I feel really unfortunate about is that, like, you know, once we run out of those energy, we're kind of stuck. Like, we're not 100% stuck, right? Like, we can always get more, I believe we play a Super Rod in this list. I'd have to double check. But, you know, we could be able to get some of this stuff back. We do play Glass Trumpet, which allows us to accelerate onto an Eevee. So we'd have to accelerate onto the Eevee first before we evolve it. Which honestly isn't that big of a deal. It's not the worst thing that happens here. And Defiance Band going onto that Charizard, which is a little weird. Personally, I would have put it onto the Arcanine EX, but not a huge deal. Combustion Blast is getting the knockout on this, giving them 2 prizes. And during their next turn, they can't attack with that Radiant Charizard, which is pretty good for us, right? We have another Flareon. I'd like to see what's in our prizes. We have double Fanrotom. I don't believe we need a double Fanrotom, so we're going to hold off. I will draw because of the Pheasantipity, right? Flip the script, get us a bunch of cards. I'd like to get us that Eevee EX onto the bench, right? We'll go Noctowl, right? Noctowl, I'd like to use Jeweled Seeker. I'd like to get maybe myself a Crispin. I need a switch for next turn. And then I think we go with Sparkling Crystal, right? What's in our hand currently? Boss's Orders, so we can go... Yeah, I think this is fine here. We're not really getting ourselves out of this situation if we're stuck. But I'd like to go Sparkling Crystal. I'd like to Boss's Orders up this Arcanine. Right? Attach onto the bench here. Just in case we need to do a retreat next turn. And then we'll Aquamarine for 560. Because it's weak to water. Again, the reason that we play Vaporeon is because it's weak to water, and the reason why we play the Sparkling Crystal is so that we can get attacks like that, right? We want to be able to get attacks where we can just simply say, okay, doesn't matter what we attack with, we can get for weakness against some of these rampant fire decks. They're not as relevant in the format, but Flareon is such a good attacker that maybe we want to cover it with Vaporeon and also Jolteon. But again, you could play another version of this list that does not play either one of those, that you could choose to not play your fire Pokemon, but instead play like, you know, that you don't want to play Vaporeon and Jolteon and just play fire and stuff that synergizes with fire. My opponent plays Magma Basin. They do get to hit with Combust Blast next turn, but again, I'm not too worried about it as we're gonna kind of try to synergize stuff away, right? We'll get another attacker coming out. Maybe what we'll do is we'll play something like, you know, we'll play our switch, bring up our Vaporeon, get the knockout on the Radiant Charizard, and then let them take the knockout off that. And then we have, you know, Briar for the next turn afterwards. We don't have Briar in hand yet, but we could probably find it pretty easily. Another thing we can do is that if we don't want to just simply play the evolutions, right, with Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, we could search for other Pokemon that have Fire, Water, Lightning as their attacks. There's not that many, but we could probably find something. Okay, we did find the other Noctowl, which will allow us to eventually get this KO. Let's go and Glass Trumpet. I'd like to put a fire onto my Eevee. And then I would like to put a water onto my Eevee as well to get ourselves set up. Oh, I can only do another one here? Okay, so then we'll do it onto the Noctowl. I've never played Glass Trumpet once in my life, so... Up to 2 of your bench Pokemon and put a... Okay, cool. Not a big deal. I'd like to put a water onto this Eevee EX. And then I'd like to evolve this into Flareon. Right? And then we are going to switch into the Mew. Right? And then I'd like to retreat. Oh, no, we could draw a card too. Let's just draw a card. Why not? That's a Nest Ball. So let's retreat the Mew into the Flareon. Oh, man, do we want to give them Flareon? No, I feel like we want to hit with Jolteon again. I'm sorry, with Vaporeon again. Let's just hit with Vaporeon again. We have that 2 energy to get rid of next turn. Gives them a prize. Then we can use Briar next turn if we need to get a knockout on a 1-prizer to get ourselves just the win. Honestly, I'm really enjoying this deck the more I play with it because it seems like while it's not really super, super hard to play, there's enough variations and cool stuff that you could do with it that, you know, you're not really expecting, right? The Severe Squall. Then there's a little bit of leeway if you want to play Eevee, if you want to play Eevee with Boosted Evolution or Eevee EX. You could even play like 4 and 4. I wouldn't recommend it because you want to be able to do other stuff besides play your Eevees, but you really only need 2 of these guys, right? As we showed earlier, maybe you need your 3rd one set up here. We have Jolteon in the discard. That's really not going to be doing anything here, but that's okay. Honestly, I'm interested to see if we are going to get our thing knocked out here, right? Mela comes down. Where does the fire... Is it to bench? Nope, to one of your Pokemon. So it goes on to the Charizard, which is not a big deal. Maybe if I'm them and not knowing that I play stuff like Briar, I attach to the Growlithe. Just get the attack off, attach another fire from hand onto the Growlithe. Just get the knockout with you know, with Charizard or something of the, or sorry, with the Fire Claws from the Growlithe. Right? Saying, okay, I'm gonna lose this Growlithe anyway, I might as well make it count. Now, let's say for whatever reason that they decide that they're not going to... Oh, hold on. What's this? Do they have... Okay, so they had the fire in hand. Never mind. I thought it was going to be a little bit different. That's fine. I kind of want to play my super cool play. They also have Magma Basin, so they could attach a fire to their bench, so they could attach a fire to their Charizard, allowing them to attack next turn, but I really wouldn't recommend it, right? The idea is that you kind of want to remove this stuff off the field whenever you can. Again, they are playing like the beginner Charizard fire list, so there's only so much that you could do with it. Also, they don't have an Arcanine just yet. Maybe they go Ultra Ball, Arcanine, you know, sit there, do attacks, do cool stuff, right? Okay, there's the Ultra Ball. Maybe they're hoping that I just don't have a switch into a knockout, which is very possible. Because I don't believe I play a switch in this list. Oh, they're getting the barrel to draw cards. Okay, so maybe they're just trying to get themselves out of an unfortunate situation. The other thought is, too, is that before they did all that, they could have gotten themselves back Radiant Charizard, put Radiant Charizard on the bench, attach, and maybe switch out of it. We'll see where their play goes from, or goes to. There's the Growlithe on the bench. Let's see what they get from this. Maybe they have nothing. If they have nothing, that's kind of sad, but, you know, not sad in, like, the fact that, you know, they don't get... It's basically sad because they don't get to play the game in, like, a more effective way, and we don't get to do our cool play. So there's a Crispin. So what I'm going to do here is I will probably retreat. Yeah, let's retreat. Right, we'll bring out the Flareon. Or the Flareon. And then let's Noctowl. I think I need a I think there's a world where I need to play, like, just more generic good stuff in this list. Like, I need to play, like, Turos to be able to pick something up. But, you know, who knows? Let's do 3 going back in. I'd like to shuffle in 2 lightning and a water. I'll play Crispin, right? I'll put water and lightning. Putting the lightning into my hand, right? Water goes on the Vaporeon. Just so that next turn, if I have to set up for the Briar, I have it. And then we're going to Relentless Charge for the knockout, getting an attachment onto our Vaporeon. And that'll go straight onto the Vaporeon. We can also accelerate it onto the Fez and Dippity, right? You know, there's other places that we can really put it too. We also don't even need the Briar. We're at the point that we've basically gotten this. I don't know why I went for the Briar. I could have gotten for like a switch or something else, right? And we would have been fine. My opponent will probably Flare Blitz here to get the knockout if they don't have, if they do not have the Growlithe. Or not the Growlithe, if they don't have the Arcanine EX. But my goal is to set us up for getting ready to fight the Arcanine EX, right? So they will... Oh, nope, Arcanine's back in the deck. Now, the problem is that Flare Blitz says discard all fire energy from this Pokemon. So you're not even able to really... Like, attaching extra to your Charizard is probably not the way to go. Understanding that this is a beginner, right? So maybe they don't realize this type of stuff. They may understand, like, a little bit, but not a lot. So can't really hold it against them for, you know, how the game goes. Oh, they're getting the big Charizard EX. Okay. I'm curious what this Charizard EX actually does. Discard 3 energy, deals 330. So the reason why we play Vaporeon is for stuff like that, right? That Charizard where it's all about doing 330 is the big guy. And, like, you know, Vaporeon's able to hit 330 with Aquamarine plus the weakness. You know, Flareon can also hit 280 with weakness, is very good. There's not as many grass-type Pokemon that are big in the format, but if there were, at least it can deal with it. Yep, there's the Arcanine. I wonder if he's just going to retreat into the Arcanine, hoping that I can't knock it out. But I do have the Carnelian attack that lets me get the 280 for the good knockout, right? 280 is such a good number in this format, and this list feels like it can hit it super easily compared to other lists. Yep, there's the Flare Blitz for 200. And we're not even going to make my opponent suffer. We're just going to hit back with the Carnelian for 280, getting the knockout and taking our last prize card. And GG's to my opponent, and we will get ready for the next game. Okay, looking at this, right, we'll see where if my opponent wins the coin flip or not. Honestly, I'm not too worried about whether or not they win the coin flip. Okay, it looks like it's heads, and they'll get to decide if they're going first or second. Again, we don't really care as much about if we go first because we get to get that evolution off early anyway, and we get to set up with so much stuff going on. And we even get to start with the Eevee, and we get, like, you know, the Eevee EX and the Mew. So we're gonna just try to push this a little bit further. They're playing Budew, which is fine on our part. Let's go Hisuian Heavy Ball, getting the Fan Rotom. So we'll go Fan Rotom here. Attach energy to the active because I want to reduce my hand size. Actually, no. What we'll do is we'll go... Oh, Lord. Okay, we're going to go Hoot 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 Noctowl. The problem is that I need to be able to, next turn, knock out the Budew, which is not a big deal. Which we could do just by retreating next turn and getting up the Fan Call. Crispin comes down 2. We also have Iono. I can't get anything off the Budew next turn, which is kind of a shame. There's the Iono coming down. Let's hope that we get something a little bit better. We can't use this next turn, but we can attack with Eevee, even if we take a turn off. Because we do have that fire energy that allows us to attack. Oh, they're doing Charizard with Budew. Okay. I'm okay with this, right? It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Okay, we'll attach an energy onto the Eevee. And then we'll deal 10 to myself. Oof, ouch, oof. Right? getting the knockout, not a big deal. We'll take our 1 prize card, and we'll start to kind of, you know, fix this up a little bit. Charmander coming down. Charmander does get a knockout. No, Charmander does not get a knockout. But there's the Arven. I wonder if they're going to go for a second Budew and switch it into the active to try to stall a little bit. But I don't know if we're going to get there. If they do, so be it, right? We'll do what we can. There's the Charizard coming down right away. Okay, so what's our goal here? Our goal here is to probably... They are weak to grass. 180, right? Maybe we accelerate to the Mew. It's 1-on-1. They did 210 there, right? So I'm a little worried about the EV, but I'm not too worried about it. We'll play this EV. We do have a Glass Trumpet here. Okay, hold on. Maybe not yet. So we'll play... Let's go Nest Ball. Nest Ball's going to get us a Pheasantipity. I'd like to Shuffle Search, but let's do this first. Let's Glass Trumpet, right? I'd like to move a water onto the active here. And that's all I need. And then I'll Energy Search it onto the active. Let's also Pheasantipity to draw some cards. Hey, there's a Crispin, but we're still missing an Evolution. Which is pretty rough for us. Because if we don't have a way to draw cards, we're going to be in trouble. We can attack for 200 this turn, but we do get knocked out next turn. And then we don't... I mean, we technically have another EV next turn. So let's Crispin to the active, because there's not much else we can do. Fire and Lightning, right? So Fire goes to hand. Lightning is going to go onto the EV. Then we'll attach Fire here. I'd like to Quartz him. It's a little rough because that Budew did put us off a little bit early, but like honestly, we were kind of put off early anyway. There's the Iono going down. I'm fine with that because our hand was kind of garbage. My opponent does get the knockout on us though for this. But we do have Jolteon coming out next turn. Do we want a Jolteon next turn? Jolteon gets us... We discard 2 basic energy from your benched Pokemon. 2 basic energy is just a Trumpet. So we could go like... Yeah, so there's the 210. Okay, so we promote the Mew. So let's try to get a Trumpet next turn. That's an energy switch, which is pretty good for us. Right, let's can't restart. Let us flip the script. Right, I'd like to go discard the Hoot Hoot, and I don't think we need an Earthen Vessel right now. I'd like to get the... We can get the Mew off something else. Let's get ourselves a Noctowl. Let's go Nest Ball into Mew. No, we need a boosted evolution, so we need that Mew. So that's very important why we have that Mew. Let's retreat into here, get this Eevee up, right? Get this Jolteon up. Then I'd like to attach the Jolteon. Noctowl. So I need double Trumpet, right? So we go Trumpet. Trumpet Sparking Crystal works. Let's do that. Trumpet. Going like Fire. Fire. Okay, I see where this is going. Do that, do that, do that. So 60 plus 90, that's 150. We get to leave something on. And we'll Iono here, right? Because we Iono to put everything on the bottom. And then I have Crispin to set up later, Night Stretcher to get ourselves the Eevee back. Yeah, this is fine. So 60. We'll choose that. So that is what? That's 60 plus 90. That's 150. More than enough for a knockout. So we'll do that. And then our goal next turn is that we want to essentially go like Eevee. So our goal next turn, if we can do it, is to get another Noctowl if they get the knockout. I'm pretty sure they get the knockout next turn either way. Oh, they have a TM evolution. Okay. The only thing I'm worried about is them getting a Briar. Nope, they're just going to evolve, attach. I guess the evolution so that they don't draw it. Right? Briar doesn't get the knockout here. I have to think real quick because Charizard deals... I think we could still do this. I'll retreat here. We go down to 1. I need to be able to get a knockout 330. What deals 330 in the deck? That's 280. 280. What is Jolteon? Jolteon is 60, 180. So we can... Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do this. Let's flip the script. Okay, there's a Noctowl. That's a first good start. So let's get Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher gets us back Eevee. And we'll put the Eevee into the hand, right? That's 280. 280 is not enough. How much does he hit for? How much did I get hit for last time? Not enough to matter. Okay. It was more than enough to knock out that. Okay, so let's go switch. Switch into the Flareon. Flareon goes up here, right? They can simply get the knockout. Yeah, I know, bud. You can chill for a sec. Come on. Noctowl goes here. Jewel Seeker finds myself Energy Switch and Glass Trumpet, right? We'll get a Water onto here and a Lightning onto here, right? They knock that out. It doesn't matter. We move the Water up, right? 130 here. Then we attach 2 Water, probably onto the Mew. Actually, I think the answer was to attach it to something else, but that's fine. Also, Briar didn't work because they needed 2 prize cards remaining, which we didn't have. So this is 4, that's 120, that's 300, so they get the knockout and they get the KO anyway. Unfortunate, Charizard is a pretty bad matchup for us. I don't know what we play to make the matchup better. There is an idea that we could maybe play like Leafeon or something that, you know, just plays it and, you know, gets the KO. I'm trying to think of how we beat Charizard in the long run. I think it's just staying a little bit ahead of stuff, hoping that they, you know, do whatever they were going to do, and then we soften it up with Vaporeon, getting the hits left and right, and making sure that we can kind of, like, get some KOs. So we do go first here. I'd like to go Eevee, Hoot onto the bench, right? We do have to lose a Grass Trumpet and a Crispin. Maybe not. Okay. They do have a Neuralization Zone, which makes me think that they're playing Mill or they're playing like a, you know, single prize attacker list. I'm not quite sure. We can get around Neuralization Zone or Neutralization Zone, whichever one it is. I'm pretty sure people will correct me in the comments. I'll draw my card. Hopefully it's something I can discard. Oh, they're playing... Interesting. Okay. So let's evolve here right away. Right? I don't need to attack this turn, but I do need to get out... some stuff. So let's go... We'll get rid of these guys because that is the least egregious to get out. Let's get out of Fan Rotom. We'll put Fan Rotom onto the bench. Fan Rotom, Fan Call. Getting ourselves a second Hoot and 2 Noctowls. Hopefully we do not get anything, you know, terribly knocked out or discarded. I could discard a Noctowl here to get myself 2 energy. Let's get ourselves a Fire and a Water. We have 1 Lightning prized, which doesn't really matter for us right now, but it can matter next turn. And we'll end our turn. Flareon's coming down. Now, if they are playing the Azumarill list, right? So the Azumarill list is all about dealing damage to itself, dealing high amounts of damage, and then, you know, having a Tera Pokemon out on the bench. We could try to take advantage of stuff like, you know, our, well, Tera Pokemon can't take damage from Vaporeon, so maybe Vaporeon's not exactly the way to go. Now, again, right, I'm a little worried about stuff like Charizard, where you get like these big hitters that can eventually just one-hit you or outpace you. Honestly, that's exactly what that is exactly what Vaporeon was for, but we really just didn't draw into it or do too much there. Looks like they have the TM Evolution coming down too, which is pretty good. But I think Flareon being able to come down right and early is pretty good. Looks like they got the Squawkabilly. Maybe they'll play the TM Evolution onto the Squawkabilly. But they need to have more Merrills on the bench to be able to do stuff with. Now that is an Azumarill and a Boss's Orders and 2 switches and an S-Ball. Crazy. There's their Tera Pokémon, which is Terapagos, which if you're playing any, Terapagos is probably the best one if it's not Pikachu. But we will have double Azumarill coming up. But the cool thing is that I think we can get a knockout next turn on our opponent's Terapagos that will allow us to essentially stop this whole entire thing from happening. So they'll Mew, right? They'll draw extra cards with Mew, right? But they may not be able to get too much from it if we just go, hey, Flareon, Noctowl, getting ourselves a Boss's Orders and like, you know, maybe Boss's Orders plus some other cool stuff out there. We do also want to get a Vaporeon up and running because we can just start, you know, Neuralization Stone may stop the Azumarills and the Merills, but looks like they only got one, which was kind of crazy. Let's put out the Fezandipity, right? So Noctowl needs to get ourselves a Boss's Orders and a Sparkling Crystal. Boss's Orders and a Sparkling Crystal. If we have it left in deck, we do, which is pretty good for us. We'll go Boss's Orders, bring up this Terapagos. We'll attach the Sparkling Crystal, attach here, give ourselves a Carnelian, which will knock out the Terapagos and allow us to get 2 prize cards and also shut down their Azumarills because Azumarill requires a Tera Pokemon to attack. Unfortunately, we got ourselves, you know, that other, that heavy ball that we just put right back in. But again, we'll be fine. Honestly, we may not even need to attack next turn. I might just go Crispin attached to the active or something so that I have something to retreat. Right? Oh, they're going to have Azumarill coming down next turn, dealing 230 here. Am I worried about that? Not as much. We can always go... I need to find maybe like another Noctowl or something. Iono's pretty good here. We might just Iono. Nothing there. Just want to double check. Our other Noctowl is still in the list. We'll Iono here. There's a Night Stretcher and a Flareon. That is not good for us in the long run. Do I have anything in discard? I do not. Okay, I need an energy somewhere to be able to retreat, so I'll put the energy on the Fezandipity and just pass my turn. They're going to have to just have my Flareon, so be it. Vaporeon's probably the play here, like I said earlier, being able to put 60 out, and not die to Double Edge right away is pretty good, right? Not dying to Double Edge will allow us to kind of, you know, do a little bit more here. Like, we'll do Double Edge, we'll be able to hit with Vaporeon twice, maybe. So Vaporeon attacks take 4 to do it, right? 4 times 60, 3 times 60, 6, 120, 180. Okay, so 3 attacks to do it. But, I mean, honestly, it's fine. I think our Burning It charge will be able to get some knockouts too. We can also play Briar to make this a little bit more of a one-sided effort here to get knockouts. Again, the problem with Azumarill is Azumarill only hits for 230, even for a one-prize attacker, right? I love Azumarill. Azumarill is one of my favorite lists to play. But honestly, it does have its own issues. We'll play the Fezandipity, draw some cards off that. I wonder what would our top deck's an Ultra Ball. That's not that bad. We'll get the Eevee out here. I probably want to retreat. So, okay, so I gotta find a way to get my... I don't have a Tera Pokemon out, and that's a problem. I don't have Eevee GX in the discard. So we go Ultra Ball here, discarding Flareon, Buddy Poffin, right? And that gets us a Noctowl. Oh, we don't have another Noctowl. Okay. Let me see what's on the board. This is kind of rough. What's in discard? I have a Noctowl in discard. Okay, so knowing that I have a Noctowl in discard, let's go EVEX. We'll play the EVEX because we need to evolve it eventually, but let's retreat here and play the Eevee. Then I will Night Stretcher, getting myself the Noctowl. Play the Noctowl. Jewel Seeker, yep, find some cards off Jewel Seeker. What am I finding off Jewel Seeker? Well, I'm finding myself probably Trumpet. Ah, shoot, I need to be able to hit this turn. I need to be able to see my game actions. I want to know if I was able to... we'll go Crispin and Tera Orb, right? So Tera Orb finds us, like... finds us Vaporeon. And then Crispin allows us to go Water, Lightning. Water goes into my hand. Lightning goes onto the Vaporeon. I might be overthinking this a little bit. We might be cooking a little bit too much. But I think I'm going to Severe Squall here. Putting some damage on these guys. Basically threatening to do a little bit more if we are not answered. Right? What the heck is being... Oh, heals all damage on your Pokemon that has 30 HP or less. Okay. Interesting. There's another Azumarill. Honestly, not the worst here. Okay, Ultra Ball gets me what? Ultra Ball doesn't really get me anything. We have to put 1, 2, 3, and then we don't have another... I don't think I have another... Okay, well, we'll Squall again, right? We need a way to get Super Rod. Because if we do this correctly, Vaporeon will be knocking out these guys before you even know it. My opponent takes their knockout. We're going to probably bring EVEX up anyway, but I don't have a way to attack next turn. We're going to have to do a lot next turn. Hoodoo, okay. So we need to reduce our the probability of getting something else, but let's just flip the script anyway. We need a Super Rod. Crispin works, kind of. So, I would need like an... Did we play our energy switch yet? Our energy switch is in the discard. I believe we have a second one. So let's search our list. Let's go get rid of Hoot Hoot, get rid of Flareon. We don't play a second one. So let's play the Mew EX just in case. I'll play a Glass Trumpet. Let's put this... Water energy, because it needs to be a water energy. Oof. Okay, double water energy there and there. I'll play the Mew. And then I'm going to Iono. We have the energy switch. We have a switch. So let's energy switch. A water energy onto the active. We need so much here, guys. It's crazy. We'll switch into... I guess the Fan Rotom, right? And then we'll draw a card. There's Jolteon, but Jolteon doesn't do anything for us here. And there's no Stadium in play, so I can't even get the knockout here. So we evolve here, hope for the best. No, we sit back and we wait. We don't attack, we don't do anything, we sit back and wait. If they get the knockout, that gets us double draw, and then we try to get the complete knockout with the Vaporeon. I know that there's other ways we could have played it. We could have played a very aggressive playstyle, playing bosses orders, counter catchers, things of the sort, right? Expecting ourselves to get knocked out, being able to pull something out, getting the knockout, playing stuff like Briar 2. Maybe we still play Area 0 Underdepths because it's a little bit of a, unique situation here with this list. But I'm really determined that we get this, that we get this ending of the Vaporeon EX knockout, because that'd be a really cool way to end the video. Area 0 Underdepths. Cool, that's good for us. That's really good for us. They have nothing else to put out there. Pheasantipity, cool. We didn't knock out anything last turn, so my opponent has nothing to do but attempt to knock out our Fan Rotom, or they just sit there. Okay, knocking out our Fan Rotom. We get a double knockout. They're down to 1 prize card. We're down to 3, which is pretty good for us too. Because now we can kind of dump our hand and really, really hope for the best here. So let's bring up this Mew EX. Right, so we're going to go... We're going to dump Nest Balls, right? We're going to get a Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom does not do it here. I'm going to play this Pheasantipity. Okay, there's a Briar. Briar doesn't do it either. Let's get this energy out of our hand. I need to essentially dump cards. I don't think I can do it. I don't think we actually get away from anything that's going on here. So we can evolve to the Jolteon. Jolteon gets the knockout. They can't get the counter knockout for the win. So I think we go Jolteon here. Play this Eevee here. I don't think we can... We attached for turn, right? They don't have an energy left in deck to do much else with. So maybe we get the knockout on this. Yeah, okay. So we'll Boss's Orders up here, the Squawkabilly. Retreat into the Jolteon. Hope they don't have a Boss's Orders and get the knockout with Flashing Spear. Oh, we should have knocked out the Mew. Because if we knock out the Mew, then they don't have as much draw. They still have a ton of draw, right? Don't get me wrong. They have Pheasantipity, they have Terapagos, Trainers in discard. They have 2 Boss's Orders in discard. If they don't have a 3rd or a 4th, we're good. Flip the script, drawing a bunch of cards. We could have thought to try to... Okay, Luminion getting themselves a Boss's Orders. No Boss's Orders, crossing my fingers. There's the Boss's Orders. They do Boss's Orders, bringing up the Mew, knocking out the Mew. Or anything else. Oh, they want to knock out the Eevee. Got it. Okay. So overall, guys, you know what? This deck was super sick. I'm super enjoying it. You know what? We'll leave it as is. I know that this is like win, loss, loss, but like games were close, games were fun. You guys could see what we enjoyed out of this Flareon list. Don't be afraid to use that Flareon to accelerate. You know, just overall, this list has been super cool. If I had to go through and edit it and like play around with it, I'd probably go down on a Flareon. Right? I'd probably go down 1 Flareon. Go down maybe... I didn't really ever use Buddy Poffins. So maybe I'd go down a Buddy Poffin. Because you can't grab Fan Rotom off... I mean, can you grab... It's what, 70? Okay, so you can grab a Fan Rotom off of that. So maybe I'd go down a Fan Rotom. Maybe go down an Earthen Vessel. Maybe go up to Area 0 Underdepths. Right? Thornton wasn't really needed in our list. I just never got into a situation that I wanted it. So I'd go up a Night Stretcher and then maybe up a Buddy Poffin. So our list would look something like this. But I think having the double Eevee and the Eevee EX... I think our list would be something like this. So I'll throw up the final list on screen. So it would probably be something like this. If I need to tech against Charizard, I think Charizard's going to be a lot better. If I see a lot of stuff being played, Leafeon is definitely the play here. I'm enjoying the list a lot more. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, feel free to drop a sub, give a comment down below. Let me know what you thought overall about the Eevee list. It's definitely something that's way more different than I normally play. It is like a bigger brain deck that uses Noctowls, that cares about Tera Pokémon, is definitely more interesting than something you would normally see here. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to be a meta deck, but I could see it definitely being like a tier 2 list that you see every now and then. Guys, I will see you later. Thanks for watching. See you next week where I have another video of maybe something more meta as we have an event ending this weekend. So guys, I will talk to you later. Have a fantastic day, guys. Bye-bye.